Hello, I'm Monica Verma, Associate Professor, Department of Political Science, Maharshi Dayanand College of Mumbai. Today, I'm going to discuss topics: definition of public administration and nature and scope of public administration. These topics are part of second year Bachelor of Arts Political Science syllabus of Mumbai University. So let us start. Public administration as an academic discipline is of recent origin, whereas public administration as an activity is as old as the human civilization. It has existed ever since human beings started living a collective, organized life. Let me give you some examples. We have reference of administration in books of Aristotle titled Politica and Kautilya's Arthashastra. These books were written in 4th century BC. Even during medieval period history books, we find that we have reference of administrative system of Mughals, administrative system of Khiljis, administrative system of Sheshasuri, administrative and taxation system of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is very well known. However, in the modern times, it was Professor Woodrow Wilson who laid the foundation of public administration as an independent social science. In his very famous essay, The Study of Administration, which was published in Political Science Quarterly in 1887, he emphasized that there is separation of politics and administration. Politics is related to policy making and administration is related to policy implementation. Hence, these two should be studied separately. With the emergence of concept of welfare state or social service state, the functions of the state have increased manyfold, and hence the importance of public administration as an activity as well as a social science have increased manyfold. Coming to the definition of public administration is a branch of wider field of administration. The word administer is derived from the Latin word administrare, which means to take care for or look after people, or simply to manage affairs. Administration is the organization and direction of human and material resources to achieve desired ends. Whereas public administration includes all activities undertaken by the government at all levels, national, state and local. Public administration, in short, is the administration of government. Now let us look at some of the definitions given by the scholars of public administration. According to Woodrow Wilson, public administration is the detailed and systematic application of law. Every particular application of law is an act of administration. According to L.D. White, public administration consists of all those operations having for their purpose the enforcement or fulfillment of public policy as declared by the competent authority. According to Gulick and Urwick, public administration is that part of the science of administration which has to do with government and thus concerns itself primarily with the executive branch of the government. Let us see another definition. According to Willoughby, public administration in the broadest sense denotes the work involved in the actual conduct of the governmental efforts, and in the narrowest senses denotes the operations of the administrative branch only. In the post-Second World War, two new concepts were added to the discipline of public administration: development administration and new public administration. In 1950s and 1960s, thinkers like Waldo, Dimmock and Fifner They emphasize the value-based character of public administration, not merely on the efficiency and economy part of the administration. The proponents of new public administration insisted on the commitment to the well-being of the people, that public administration must be people-oriented or people-centric. Now let us discuss the nature of public administration. There are two views regarding the nature of public administration. One is integral and another is managerial view. Integral view considers administration as the sum total of all the activities, manual, clerical, managerial, etc., which are undertaken to realize the objectives of the organization. Thinkers like Henry Fayol and L.D. White, they supported the integral view of public administration. According to the managerial view of administration, the managerial activity of people who are involved in planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling, etc., constitute public administration. This view regards administration as getting things done, not doing things. Scholars like Luther Gulick, Herbert Simon, Smithberg, and Thompson are supporters of this view, that is managerial view. Now coming to the scope of public administration. Scope of any academic discipline means the content or the subject matter of the subject. All social sciences are connected, interrelated, and sometimes boundaries overlap. But still, every academic discipline has its own scope and content and subject matter. There are two perspectives regarding the scope of public administration. One is narrow perspective and the other is broad perspective. First, let us discuss what is narrow perspective. In its narrow sense, public administration is concerned with those aspects of administration which are related with the executive branch only. The narrow perspective is also regarded as post-corp view or scientific management view, which was given by Luther Gulick and Arbig. In one of their papers on organizational theory, which was published in 1937, they coined this term post-corp, which is an acronym. Now let us see, what does it mean. According to post-corp view, the scope of public administration is limited to the following functions which are performed in any organization. In the acronym post-corp, P stands for planning. Planning means working out the broad outlines of the things that need to be done and the method to be adopted to achieve the objectives of the enterprise. Planning is undertaken in all types of organization. O in post-corp stands for organization, which means the establishment of the formal structure of authority through which the work is subdivided, arranged, defined, and coordinated. S stands for staffing, which means the recruitment and training of personnel and maintenance of favorable conditions of work for the staff. D in post-corp stands for direction. Direction means continuous task of making decisions and embodying them in specific and general order, instructions, and thus guiding the enterprise. And direction takes from top to bottom. CO stands for coordination. Coordination means interrelating the various parts of organizations such as branches, divisions, sections of the work, and removal of overlapping and conflict. Coordination is very essential in any organization. R in PostCorp stands for reporting. Reporting means informing the agency to whom the executive is responsible as to what is going on. Reporting is done from down to upwards, whereas direction was from up to downwards. B stands for budgeting. Budgeting means accounting, fiscal planning and control, etc. Again, budgeting is common in all organizations. So, PostCorp gives unity, certainty and definiteness and makes the study of public administration more systematic. According to Gulick, the PostCorp activities are common to all organizations, regardless of the nature of work they do, or whether they are private organizations or they are public organizations. However, critics point out that PostCorp view takes into consideration only the common techniques of the administration and ignores the study of the subject matter. There is also no reference to the formulation and implementation of the policy, and thus the PostCorp view defines administration very narrowly. Now, let us look at the broad perspective regarding the scope of public administration. According to the broad perspective, public administration deals with the processes and substantive matters of administration, such as defense, law and order, education, public health, agriculture, justice, welfare, etc. These services require not only PostCorp techniques, but they have important specialized techniques of their own. According to broad perspective, public administration is a cooperative group effort in a public setting. Further, according to broad perspective, public administration covers all three branches of government, that is legislature, executive and judiciary. Not just executive, functions of the executive form the scope of public administration. Further, public administration has an important role in the formulation of public policy, and hence it is a part of political process. It is not just involved in the implementation of public policy. And as a field of study and practice, public administration has been influenced in recent years by the human relations approach. Now, to conclude, we can say that the prevailing view about the scope of public administration divides the scope of public administration into administrative theory and applied administration. Administrative theory includes the structure, organization, functions, and methods of all types of public authority which are engaged in administration, national, regional, or local. It includes issues concerning personnel, planning, research, information, and public relations services. As an applied administration includes executive, legislative, financial, educational, economic, and social functions. It also includes foreign administration and local administration. Thus, the scope of public administration as an academic discipline is very vast. Thank you.